All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room, Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. Doing it on Tuesday this week because the holiday yesterday. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Marcus Fine. How's it going, guys?
Going well.
I'll let you get going like normal. I'm finished getting everything done.
Okay, well, we'll start off with our independent wrestling. And I know Marcus went to a show at WCWO. All of us went to a show yesterday at Summit Pro. I'll let Marcus start off with the WCWO show. Hey, Kelly.
I had some cut real quick. We had 3 or 4 shout outs on Shooting with Shane. He interviewed Delroy Iveta, which is Daniel from on here. Very good interview, but they shouted out to us at least 3 times on there. So thanks a lot, guys, for recognizing us. And the interview was fantastic. I have a new respect for Daniel I've always respected Daniel for what he wanted to do, but after listening to him talk, the kid's got more in his head than you'd ever think. So
Cool.
If you get a chance, go over there and see that. It's pretty good. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Friday night. All right. Not a bad show. I give it a B if I had to. It was a pretty decent show. A lot of new faces. I bet half the room was different people we've never seen before. So I don't know if they came from Comic-Con or where they come from, but there was new people there. Let's see. Zay Gates defeated Jake Elliott to retain the WCWO Gunslinger title. Max Sterling defeated Jake Phoenix. Now I'll try to get this right. Prestigious Worldwide defeated Brother Blaze and Cousin Cooter to retain the Prestigious Worldwide World Tag Team titles. I think I got all that in there. So they put their belts on the line, but they are the World Tag Team titles, so you have to throw that word in there twice. Okay, then I told Tony what happened. I don't know if Chris had heard. The new champ, Damon Real, come out, was asking the crowd who he wanted to be the first person to defend against, and Jordan James came out, and he said, okay, Jordan James said, well, if I defeat Maliko at the end of the night, then put me on the list. And about that time, Skull Crusher hit the stage, and Jordan James plowed into Damon. So Jordan James is now a heel again, aligned with Skull Crusher. And then after all that, and he left, Damon then defeated Jackson Morgan to retain the Outlaw title. Then Damian Real defeated Hidari to become the new WCWO Territorial Champion. So both the highlight guys have each got a title. Now get this. TJ Powers and Hammer, same side, defeated Pogo and the Waterboy. They're trying to revive them tag team champions titles that were held up, a month, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And both the TJ and Hammers, they're the only ones there. The tag team partners were not. And basically Big Pete said, you two are going to wrestle you guys are going to team up. So you want in this championship, you're going to have to team up. So they did, and it was funny as hell, arguing with each other and just doing stupid stuff. Well, then TJ did his pile driver on the water boy and covered him. Well, then Hammer ran in there on the other side, and they're almost on top of him. Then they're fighting on who pinned him. Well, I pinned him. No, I pinned him. So that's where that went. It was pretty hubris. And then Jordan James then ended it defeating Maliko in a very good main event. So solid B. It was not a bad show at all.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good show. Okay, we all went to a show Sunday, which we broadcast on YouTube and other channels. Summit Pro. Chris, what was the name of that show?
Labor Day Lariats.
Okay, Labor Day Lariats. I forgot. Really good show. I really enjoyed it. It was really solid, man. And the first match for me, Cameron Canyon and Idris Wolf, which I found out a little bit about him. He's a brand new wrestler that just got trained over at New Era. He came from that school, and he's brand new. And I tell you what, man, he was impressive. I was really impressed with him. I thought it was the match of the night, but there were some really, really good matches on that show.
What's up, Johnny?
You guys definitely check out that show.
Yeah.
It's on our YouTube channel. What did you guys think of the show?
Well, I thought the show was spot on. I actually think that first match was the match of the night. And we got new tag champs.
Yeah, we did. That was
a good one too.
That was a big surprise.
But yeah, having that new kid we didn't know he was a new kid. You couldn't tell.
No.
He was. That match was spot on, and it's like that. I think that was the match of the night for me. And then the tag champs changing.
And then also, definitely ring announcer
Roger,
he got fired. Definitely that. I believe Nikki and Hillbilly Jet was also fired. Is the way I took it, but
they were fired too.
I believe they were let go too by the new general manager. So things are looking pretty promising for President Hadley with the situation he's in. They're pretty much controlling the show. So it's going to be interesting what happens at Summit Pro in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the new tag champions are
Saturday Saints.
Saturday Saints. I'm having brain farts. I can't remember no names. But yeah, they great team, great comedy team. But man, they can go in the ring too. And it was a fun match, and it was a really good match. So yeah, new tag champions there at Summit Pro. So that's exciting to see. Also a good crowd yesterday for Summit Pro, being Labor Day weekend. I thought they did real well.
And then you had the original Sins immediately attack the Latter-day Saints, so I think we know where that's going. They're going after those titles, so that'll probably be next month. You'll see original Sins and Latter-day Saints going.
And we had the first round of the tournament for the high elevation tournament, and it was a really good matches, man, all the way through the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes next month.
Mm-hmm.
And that show will be on the first Sunday, like normally. It will be on the second Sunday on October 8th. Doors open at 3, bell time at 4. Okay. Chris, what'd you think?
I thought it was a real solid show. I thought the whole show was pretty good. Really wasn't a bad match on the show. I agree with you guys that rookie, which I didn't know he was a rookie at the time, but thought he was impressive. Really enjoyed the tag team match. But yeah, I thought the high elevation tournament, the first round of it went real well, and there's going to be some good matchups there in the second round. So the show on the 8th should be a pretty good show.
Yeah, I think so too. I went to one of the promoters and asked about Idris Wolf, and that's when I was told that he was a brand new recruit from New Era. Went through that school and just graduated. So, man, impressive.
Well,
there's a lot of impressive rookies. A lot of impressive rookies out there right now.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the show and impressed that they had a really good crowd for Labor Day weekend. I tell you, ever since they had that fair show, and not that they were not good before, but they are really hitting on all cylinders right now since that fair show. New areas, new era, not new era, Summit Pro, excuse me, are really hitting on all cylinders. So need to go check them out.
Doing
Greenfield,
good,
Indiana. They do great shows, do great work.
Johnny. I'll drop you a PM about Illinois. I don't think that's going to happen, but we will see you in October.
So, Marcus, if you're ready, you want to go ahead and do your Indiana Pro Wrestler?
Yeah, I got two of them.
Okay, cool.
Because I went back to do a little research from what we had talked about last week, and I'm gonna write down here. Well, it was kind of funny because I put in Bob Orton Sr. and I got to the last one, but he was born in Kansas. Well, what the hell? And then I know I need Dory Funk Sr. So I had a brain fart myself, got the wrong guy.
Hey, Billy Buzz, doing good tonight.
Okay, we had talked about Dusty, and yes, he did go to West Texas State. I looked that up, and yes, he did. So yeah. What are we doing? Are we doing Indiana? Okay. Here we go. I had all the pay-per-view stuff from Payback.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that next.
Right. Okay, Dory Funk Sr. was never an NWA champion per se, as in like what the belt Ric Flair and Sting had. He had versions of that belt, but to be the one like overall champion, he did not. So, okay, we're doing Dory Funk Jr. to start with. Born May 4th, 1919 in Hammond, Indiana. He was a three-time high school state champion in amateur wrestling there in Hammond, and a one-time Indiana State University Amateur Athletic Union champion. So he had quite a bit of wrestling under his belt before he ever did pro. He was in World War II, debuted in 1940, and feuded with Mike DiBiase, which is the father of Ted DiBiase, and Vern Gagne. Then he moved down to Amarillo, Texas.
I remember right, he was Iron Mike DiBiase, if I remember right.
Yes. And that was he died in the ring, heart attack or something in the ring. So, then he went down to Amarillo, Texas, started the Western State Sports. It was his own promotion. He was the promoter for this. He had, of course, Dory Jr. and Terry, but also had Stan Hansen, Harley Race, Gene Kaniski, Tully Blanchard, Ted DiBiase, Tito Santana, Bruiser Brody, Jumbo Shruda, and most of those were former football stars from West Texas State. So I thought that was interesting that there's a whole bunch of people that went to West Texas State that are out there as legends and Hall of Famers. So, okay, and like I said, he didn't have a lot of career highlights really, but here's some of the championships he held. He was a one-time NWA Florida Southern Tag Team Champion with Jose Lothario, which is the trainer of Shawn Michaels. I think when Shawn won the belt, wasn't he at ringside for the Iron Man Michaels Bret Hart match? Yeah. Then he was a two-time NWA Pacific Coast Tag Team Champion. And then, of course, in Western States, I say parts of NWA because it wasn't the big one. The NWA, he was a two-time Brass Knuckles Champion and North American Champion 17 times, a Tag Champion 7 times, the Southwest Junior Heavyweight Champion 8 times, the Southwest Tag Team Champion 4 times, the Southwest Heavyweight Champion 3 times, and for the Amarillo version NWA World Tag Team title 4 times, and one of those times was with Rip Rogers. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And he was put into the NWA Hall of Fame in 2013. So I take it he's not a WWE Hall of Famer, just the Sons are.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I thought he went in with that, like what they did with Dick the Bruiser. They put about 6 people into the Legends category. Evidently, he didn't make that yet. I'm surprised he wasn't on there. Okay, then the other one I did was Daniel Hawley. He is known as Danny Basham or Damaja. Is that right? In TNA?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Did I say it right? I wasn't sure. Born October 3rd, 77 in Seymour. Well, that could be.
I know Dusty went there. I don't know if Dusty graduated. I know Dusty went there. I know Funk went there. I think Funk even graduated. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure Funk graduated. And I know Dusty went there. But again, I don't know if he graduated.
Well, that could be. Make him look good.
Could be.
What's up, David?
Well, excuse me. I know if you during Cody's promo about Terry Funk, he if you remember right, he did say that Terry was one of the few wrestlers that said they went to West Texas State that actually did go there. So.
He did say that during on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. So who knows about them other guys? Because I would have thought we would have heard that somewhere down the line if that was fact. We all know Vern Gagne's camp up in Minnesota. That's no, they had a whole bunch of people and nobody's disputing that. But you're right. You don't hear about everybody going to West Texas State. So that could be. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, Danny Basham. Sorry. Born October 3rd, 77 in Seymour, Indiana. He was trained by Jim Cornette and Nightmare Danny Davis. Now, I'm guessing Nightmare Danny Davis is not the same Danny Davis as the crooked referee. Was there two of them?
No. Yep.
There is two of them?
Yeah, the one Danny Davis, the Nightmare, he wrestled a lot down in Mid-South. I think he was even in the NWA some, never a big name in NWA, but he was popular in the South. Yeah, I remember him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's different than the one WWE crooked ref.
All right. Well, I thought that was weird. That guy couldn't wrestle worth a damn. How could he be training anybody? But anyway.
Yeah.
He debuted January 6th of 99 in Ohio Valley Wrestling. Of course, he was one half of the Basham brothers with Doug. They used to do that gimmick where they'd swap out because they looked so much alike.
Yep.
That they'd swap out in the ring. Won the WWE tag titles from Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Jr., and then lost them to Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty. And then he joined JBL's Cabinet stable, where they defeated Rey Mysterio and RVD, Luther Reigns, Mark Jindrak, Eddie Guerrero, and Booker T. I guess it was a four-way. And took the titles in, but then lost them to Eddie and Ray at No Way Out 2005. And then they basically became jobbers. He was an Ohio Valley Heavyweight Champion 4 times, a Southern Tag 3, and, of course, the WWE Tag 2 times, and was number 65 in the 2003 PWI 500. So that's what I have.
That's pretty interesting. I remember the Basham brothers. They had a pretty good little run. It didn't last a long time. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about the pro wrestling this weekend. I know Marcus watched Payback, as I did, and then also I watched probably about 80 or 90% of the pay-per-view on Sunday night, All Out, AEW's pay-per-view in Chicago. So we'll go over that stuff. First of all, Payback. Marcus, what's your thoughts on Payback?
Oh, I loved it. The only match it wasn't a bad match. I just don't think it was a pay-per-view quality match. I would have put it on Raw or SmackDown. Was between Rhea Ripley and that lady, Raquel Rodriguez. The rest of those matches I thought were really good. The cage match was outstanding. Fantastic cage. Fantastic hardcore street fight, whatever you want to call that. Those are my two picks, but all those matches are very well done.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the pay-per-view. All the matches were quite a bit different. You started the show with the cage match, steel cage match, one of the better steel cage matches that WWE has done in a while. I've been a little critical of Trish. I thought she was a step slow. In this match, she was not a step slow. They were outstanding. They did they did a lot of damage to each other. They didn't bring in the kendo sticks, and all that crap. They used the cage, and I like that. And if you you can look online and you can look at some pictures of Trish and the damage that was done to her. There was definitely some damage done all over her body and her head, with bruises and stuff. So it was a heck of a match. I thought LA Knight continues to get over. I thought the stuff with Cena and The Miz was really good. With Cena as the special ref, LA Knight got the victory there. We had Rey Mysterio and Austin Theory. I thought that they had some really good moves during that match. Thought it's pretty good storytelling. I thought the way Mysterio won the match was really good. I know a lot of people don't like Austin Theory. I think he's really good. So Mysterio hung on to the U.S. title. Then match number 4 on the show was the Pittsburgh Street Fight.
Yes.
The tag team titles on the line, Judgment Day and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And when I say the Judgment Day, it was all 4 members plus the one guy's trying to get in the Judgment Day. Pretty much were the ones that took the titles from them. It took all 5 of them, but they are the new champs. Judgment Day is really getting over. They've got all the titles, kind of taking the place of stories are kind of changing. They're kind of taking over, and the bloodline story is evolving into something different. So Jey Uso, which I'll go over that real quick in a minute, about Jey Uso and last night on Raw. So but yeah, things are changing there. But that was an outstanding match. Could have been a match of the night. That and the cage match were outstanding. The world heavyweight title, well, I got one before that. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. Thought it was a pretty good match. It was for the world title. Ripley won. Dom helped her win that match. Also, Dom was big in the other match, so he was kind of the MVP of the Judgment Day on that pay-per-view because he helped them win the belts. And then we had the main event, Seth Rollins and Nakamura. I thought it was a really good match, really physical. Told a lot of story when he beat on that back. They showed footage last night after the match on Raw. He attacked him again and drove him through the video screen back first and did more damage to the back. So the story's not over yet. So I thought it was a really good show. I give it a really close to an A, maybe an A minus. I thought it was really strong. AEW All Out in Chicago. I'm just going to talk about more of the positive stuff. There was 4 matches on the show that I thought was really good. And I think this show was kind of a reset. I think they're trying to reset and get things ready for the future, everything that's happened in the past. So I thought Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs were outstanding. 2 great big men. It was a big men match. I thought it was good. Hopefully, they'll continue to push these 2 guys because Tony Khan has had trouble pushing big guys in the past. So we'll see. Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks had one heck of a strap match, physical. The only problem, I thought the match was great. The only problem I had was there was no story going into the match. Danielson took CM Punk's place. He was not in a feud with Ricky Starks before that. He was a bad guy. Now he's a good guy, I guess. So that was a disconnect, but it was still a really strong match. We had a women's match on it I thought was really good. Chris Stadlander defended her AEW TBS Women's Championship against Ruby Soho. I thought the match was really good. I really enjoyed that match. I'm glad to see that the women got highlighted a little bit and did a great job. Then we had I can't pronounce the dude's name. The one Japanese wrestler that I like, Kensuke Tashida, took on Kenny Omega, and probably maybe the surprise of the night, got a clean victory over Kenny Omega. I mean, clean pin. I thought that match was really good. I'm a big fan of Tashida's. I mean, I like Omega's work too, but I thought that was interesting. And then in the main event, Orange Cassidy put his AEW International Championship up on the line against Jon Moxley. Moxley pretty much beat the crap out of him pretty much the whole match and won the belt. So thought it was a solid show. I'll give it a B. I got to see about 80% of it because we was a little late coming in from that show. But a good effort. I mean, I think they all busted their butt with everything that's been going on. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Get your guys' views on Mr. CM Punk getting fired. Real quick before we go that, my grandson's on here, and he give Payback a B+.
That's what I'd give it, Austin. I'd give it a B plus.
He liked Becky and Trish, and then Judgment Day #2. I kind of agree with that. I don't know, the Theory match and the Miz match were pretty close, but I kind of agree with what 1 through 6, what he has.
No, that's pretty spot on there, young man. The only thing
He's
I
pretty
didn't
good
like
most
about
of the time. He goes with
the only thing I didn't care for in the main event is all those very high hearts hits, and it ended too quick. That with just a basic curb stomp, I thought
yep,
that was just too abrupt of an ending. Like you said, that he should have done it twice or
yep.
so. But that's the only complaint I had about any of that. And like I said, Rhea and Raquel, I thought was just really wasn't pay per view quality in my opinion. But
You got Chris Higby on there already commenting on Punk, saying CM Punk is toxic, and AEW is better without him. That's going to remain to be seen. I mean, I listened to Monday's show today of Busted Open with Mark Henry, and which Mark Henry works for AEW behind the scenes, and Bully Ray and to Dave LaGreca. The one thing I thought was interesting about Mark Henry, he kept saying that the ledge problem was CM Punk. He never would say CM Punk was the problem. He kept saying the alleged problem was CM Punk. And Bully Ray also brought up some points. There was problems in that locker room before CM Punk ever got there. I mean, they've had issues before.
That's one reason is Cody Rhodes isn't there.
I believe that.
I believe.
I believe that too. One thing Mark did say, he knows for a fact. Said people can try to dispute it, but he knows for a fact that with CM Punk gone, they are going to lose some money. There's revenue there that he was bringing in that they're not going to get now. And he said that's a fact. People can dispute that all they want. Now, may I clean up the problem behind the stage? He said we'll see. But he said as far as selling merchandise, tickets, and stuff, CM Punk did help them. And so that's one thing that Mark Henry did say. One thing, and I kind of thought Punk needed to be gone too. I think he just couldn't handle things. And it's not all his fault. I think the situation there is run like a circus, and he couldn't handle the circus. And I think most of the blame goes to Tony Khan. That's my opinion. But one thing that came out yesterday, the Young Bucks and them guys, Omega and what's the other guy, Hangman, they do a show every week, something elite. Anyway, I can't think. I've never watched it, but I have seen a little bit of footage of it, and they came right out taking shots already. I mean, it shows. The show opens with Kenny Omega drinking a Pepsi and then spitting it out. I said, "How anybody drink this crap?" Because CM Punk was big on the Pepsi, and just taking shots. And the reason I have an issue with that because these guys are supposed to be executive vice presidents of that company, and they're doing this stuff. How can you be an executive vice president and do things like that? And that's the problem Tony Khan has. You don't run a tight ship, and that's why he has the issues that he has. And people can complain about Punk, but the show that, now, again, I'm not saying I agree with the fact that they give Punk Collision to run, but they did, and people was liking Collision's show on Saturday better than Dynamite. But the one smart thing I think he is doing, he's bringing Bryan Danielson in now to run the Saturday show. So we'll see how that goes. There's some people commenting on here. That may be true. There's some rumors out there that Punk tried to get back in WWE back last December. He showed up at a show that WWE was doing, talked to Triple H, talked to them. As before he ever went back to AEW, that he talked about wanting to go back and be in the Royal Rumble.
He was at a show when he was with AEW.
Yeah, he was still technically with AEW, but he wasn't back on the air yet. And there was rumor that he was talking about trying to get a buyout so he could go back to WWE. So I know there's rumors that he mended fences with Triple H, and also him and Miz had a lot of problems in the past, and he mended fences with them. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know the rumors are going rampant already that Survivor Series is in Chicago, and a lot of people are wondering if CM Punk's going to be there. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Punk to a certain degree is toxic, and I don't think that WWE needs him. That's me personally. What do you think, Chris?
Well, like when we were talking about the other day, I think it all comes down to what kind of relationship him and Triple H have, and if Triple H thinks that he could come in and toe the line per se and do what he's supposed to do, or if he's going to come in and try to act like he has over there. I think some of it is Punk. I'm not going to blame it all on everybody else, but I do think a lot of it is the environment that you have over AEW. I agree with you. I don't think Khan has took the. I think he's trying to take control now, but I think he's waited so long that it's gotten so far out of hand that it's going to be hard to rein it back in. To actually rein it back in where you want it, you might have to clean a little bit of house, and he's not really in a situation where he can because he's already having enough trouble with the ratings and stuff. So if you start losing a lot of your bigger name talent to try to get things back in order, you're digging yourself a little bit more of a hole to try to work out of. But
let me ask you guys this question: you had the altercation backstage of some sort is what caused Punk to get fired. But all that started backstage because of Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. He was out during a match and made a comment towards CM Punk about blood my ass, cry me a river, and then he goes back and they get into it. He was very unprofessional by doing that. Do you think he should be fired? I mean, here you are having the biggest show that you've ever had, 80,000 people. Now, with all this stuff that's happened, nobody's talking about that big show and how good it was. They're talking about all this CM Punk mess and all this Jack Perry mess. And even they had All In a week later. They're talking CM Punk got fired. All they're talking about is that. They're not talking about that show. So it's really hurting the product.
I think that's where they didn't make a mistake, was trying to stop people from wearing CM Punk shirts and all that stuff, because that turned into a bigger story than the show itself. I think they should, hey, let the fans wear whatever they wear to the show. Who cares? They paid the money to get in the show. Let them wear what they're going to wear, because by putting all that attention on that, you're just adding more attention to CM Punk and taking it away from a pay-per-view that you're trying to have. So I thought that was a bad move of trying to stop people from wearing shirts and making them turn them inside out. And
I don't think I'd have fired him right before the show. I think I'd have waited till the day after the show before I'd have fired him.
I was fired. I was surprised that I figured he'd be at the show. I figured he was going to get suspended, but I figured it'd be after.
They said there's more stuff going to come out, but the big story that's coming out, whether it's true or not, I don't know. That he lunged and went at Tony Khan. The Punk did.
And that's
Punk
the thing. It's hard for me to say whether he should have got fired or Perry should have got fired, because we don't know. You don't know the whole story. You don't know what out of what you heard, what's true, what's not true, how far has it been exaggerated. And Perry he might be fired. I mean, he's suspended indefinitely, so I mean, you don't know. But without knowing exactly what happened, it's hard to have a real strong opinion on it, because you don't, especially with social media and everything else, you don't know if half of what you read is true or what you read is true or false. It's hard to kind of got to try to sift through it all and get the truth.
Give you guys a little context. Back when this happened a year ago, when CM Punk went off on Hangman Adam Page and the EVPs, is what upset him was that in an interview that Hangman Adam Page did, they asked him, what's it like to have all this great, you got Arn Anderson and you've got Mark Henry and you've got all these guys in the back. What's it like learning from them guys and taking advice from them guys? He said, I don't believe him taking advice from them guys. He said, I think you just need to go out there and figure it out yourself. And that set CM Punk off. He said, go tell Terry Funk that you're not going to listen to his advice. He got very upset about that. And I understand. I think it's disrespectful. Yeah, I mean, you got all that knowledge back there, but you don't need to listen to it. He basically said, well, I'm one of the guys who helped start. He did say this. He said, I'm one of the guys who helped start this company. Why do I need to listen to him? So, and that upset him.
And that's probably why your company's not growing.
Yeah, it's not growing.
Yeah, Damien, I thought that was pretty funny too when he said he was in fear for his life.
Let me ask you something.
That's what he said. That's one reason he.
I seen something You guys froze up. There you go. I seen something earlier where they said that who knows how old this person was, said the AEW event at Wembley Stadium was so much better than the WWE SummerSlam 92 event was. What's your thoughts on that? And you're talking 3 decades. It's a whole different product.
Yeah, it's a whole different product. I think that personally, I'm a big WWE fan, and I'm not a big AEW fan. So you might be asking the wrong person. I think that there wasn't a match on that show that would hold up to, in my opinion, to Bret Hart and British Bulldog. That's my opinion.
And I'm not even seeing the other one, but I compare.
That's just my opinion. I think their product is just different. It's not geared towards me like me and a guy like you, Marcus. It's just really fast paced, spot after spot after spot. Let's kick out of 4 Canadian destroyers. And look, there's people out there. I think it's hurting them, like Chris said, it's hurting them as far as trying to grow, but they're doing good with the 800,000 or 900,000 people that watch it and people that order their pay-per-views. They do good that way. So I'm not going to put them down. And they give me, I mean, they got MJF right now, who I think is knocking it out of the park. I'm a huge fan. I've always been a Adam Cole fan. So, I mean, they've got elements on there that keeps me going back to watch this show. But I am not a big fan of AEW, and I'll tell people that. So I can clarify that, and they know that. But I'm trying not to be a hater. I want them to succeed. It's the best thing for the wrestling business for there to be AEW and there to be an impact. And the more successful them companies are, the better the wrestling is going to be. Even the independents, because there'll be more opportunity for the independents. I mean, that's my point of view.
When I seen it, I just had you got to be kidding! You're talking 3 decades. A lot has changed. It's not the same product. So
no, it's not.
And the kid was probably only 15, 18, 19. Probably wasn't even alive in that.
And that's their main audience is your like 18 to 35 demographic. That's their main audience.
Yeah, because I remember one time I posted something on Facebook about the 4 Horsemen, and a guy that I know, a young guy, he's about 20 years old, said they were great and everything. And he said, but it was pretty boring. Well, he said none of them guys compared to Kenny Omega. I disagree with that, but that's just my opinion. I don't think he's seen enough of Ric Flair and Arn Anderson to make those judgments.
Steve-O,
And I'm not, I'm not.
This might piss a lot of people off, but Kenny Omega couldn't wear one of Ric Flair's boots.
I don't disagree with it. When you talk about the total package of selling, mic skills and everything, he's not even close to Ric Flair. That's my opinion. That's probably gonna make a lot of people mad, but that's okay. That's just an opinion.
That's my opinion, but I don't. But I've never been. I mean, I'm not saying Kenny Omega's not good, but I've never been one. I've never seen all the hype behind them, as some people have. And I'm sure there's people I like that people don't see the hype behind. So I mean, that's how it is. Everybody has their own opinion, but
Kenny Omega ain't the best wrestler on the roster. Bryan Danielson's the best wrestler on the roster, in my opinion. It's not even close. I think the best thing that they have is MJF. MJF went 70 minutes with Bryan Danielson. MJF can go with anybody on the mic. MJF is a true superstar, in my opinion. And he better be worried about trying to keep him.
I've been saying it for a while. I think he's going to end up in WWE.
Is a better personality?
Personally. He thinks as a whole Flair's better, but in the ring Omega is better.
I don't think so. Not selling. When you add selling into that, not too many people can. I think Ric Flair's one of the top 10 sellers of all time. Would you guys agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't think Kenny Omega is. Now, don't get me wrong, athletically and some of the moves that Omega does, he's great.
Yeah, because Flair couldn't do some of that stuff.
True.
Because of his injuries. From the
and
plane crash.
Well, different style.
Yeah, it's a different style.
It's a different style because back then they wasn't doing those moves that a lot of these guys do now. But in my opinion, do you think Kenny Omega's better than Seth Rollins? I don't. That's me personally. I think Seth Rollins is better all around than Kenny Omega. That's just me personally. We got off the topic here.
You blame
All
me.
right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Well, let's get you guys' predictions. What do you think? Do you think CM Punk will go back to the WWE? What do you think, Marcus?
No,
You
I don't think they'll let him.
they'll touch him?
No, I don't think they'll let him. I think he blackballed himself. You're probably going
What
to
do you
see him
think?
on the independents because that's all he'll be able to do.
I think you might. I think you could see him in Japan.
Well, yeah. I'm thinking in the
Yeah.
U.S. Not thinking going to
I know
Mexico.
Bully Ray. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer were high up in Impact, and they both said, "Give us a call." They take him in a heartbeat.
Well, that'd be
Because
I kind of call that an independent, kinda.
yeah, but I think that's one thing with CM Punk. If he went back to WWE, I think he knows what he can't get away with that crap there. I mean, he knows.
Neither have I, Damien.
And also, I think he may have figured out. He went to AEW and found out what it was. Grass ain't always green on the other side.
Kelly says no.
I don't think either.
Damien
I
says
agree
no.
with that. No, don't bring him to the WWE. Put him on the independents.
Austin's a big CM Punk fan. I don't know if he was a big fan of him. I don't think he was a big fan necessarily in AEW. I don't think he watched a lot of it because he's not an AEW fan. But I think Austin would love to see him back in WWE.
I don't see it.
They could make money with him, but yeah, I don't. He would have to swallow a lot of pride, I think.
And that's the problem. He won't do that.
Yeah, you might be right.
That's, I think, where the problem is. If he went in there, tail between his legs, and apologized and changed his ways, possibly. But he ain't going to do that. He's proved that. So he go in there and be an asshole.
If he does, I don't think it. If he does come back, I don't think it'd be a long-term thing. I think if he comes back, it's going to be for Survivor Series. It's going to be in Chicago, and it's going to be Triple H basically saying "fuck you" to AEW.
And CM Punk saying "fuck you" to
Yeah.
AEW.
I think that would be the only scenario you'd see him back, and it might just be for like a short stint. I don't know if you'd see him there long term.
And real quick, go back. Something happened on Monday Night Raw.
And most of it's because of his attitude, not because of his ability, but just his attitude.
You're right. Jey Uso is now a part of Monday Night Raw, which they announced at the pay-per-view. What they did announce last night on Monday Night Raw, now that WWE Monday Night Raw has to trade somebody to SmackDown. Do you think that
this
could
ain't
be
a trap?
I know, but they say they got to trade somebody because they made a deal to get Jey Uso. So that's what the guy supposedly runs Raw. Do you think that could be Cody Rhodes to get him hooked back up with the bloodline and going after that title?
Could be, but wouldn't Cody one of the ones that helped get Uso to?
That's true.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, it could be.
Could be.
He helped get Jay over there so he could get to SmackDown.
Get to SmackDown and go after Roman.
And then they changed the way they were spelling Jay's name or something. I saw something over there now instead of being Jey, now they're spelling it Jay. Now that he's on Raw.
I think somebody must have spelled it.
I don't know. I just saw on Facebook a little bit ago.
I think somebody must have spelled it.
That they were.
I know one thing.
I was like, really? They're changing his name?
That Raw crowd went crazy for Jey Uso last night. They really did. Okay, the next topic we had up was something that you would like to see in Indiana independent wrestling that we're probably maybe not seeing or we haven't seen in a while, or we'd just like to see something that we would like to see. And hey, anybody out there, if you got any suggestions or anything you would like to see, let us know. Is there something that you're not getting from your independent wrestling, or any storylines that you think would be good, or anything like that? Marcus, what do you think?
Okay, well, I forgot you told me that. I had to go back and find that because I did that earlier in the week, last week. Okay, of course, I'm old school. That's everybody knows it. I'd like to see heels come in from one direction and faces come in from another, and I know that's kind of hard to do, but everybody coming out of the same curtain, out of the same locker room, doesn't make sense for storylines if you really think about it. Because, all right, so you have wrestler A who just beat the shit out of the other guy and he's pissed and he walks in the back, and then B goes right in the same door that the A went into. That makes no sense. Now they're in the back room together. I think they ought to have, even if they're in the same dressing room, have them come in two different locations. I always like to see it that way. I'm being picky. I think once the doors open, you should not see wrestlers wandering around. I think everybody should stay in the back. Now, when intermission comes out and they all do their meet and greet, sign, get sell the merch and stuff, yes. But I see too many wrestlers wandering around, and I guess that goes back to the old school days that you just didn't see that. Remember the old timey cardboard posters that were about
Yeah,
when they're
I know
posted.
what you're talking about.
I'd like to see those come back, where you
Yeah,
can drive down the street and see a
well,
on a
they got,
pole.
yeah, they got them up at the Dub. Some of them up at the Dub. Some of the old ones.
Yes, and I got a whole collection in the garage of ones I've stolen off. I mean, I'm sorry, taken off of poles.
Stolen thief.
It's over. I'd like to see programs come back. If promoters put a little money into putting a program together, I bet the fans would buy them. Put like a picture, some bios in there. Maybe you put your sponsors in there, maybe a coupon for a drink at the snack bar or something. I'd like to see that. And back in the old Bruiser days, they had those programs numbered. And at intermission, normally at intermission, they'd call off like 3 numbers, and those people get free seats for the next show. And so it was like kind of like a raffle as well. So,
Yeah.
And Jerry Wilson did a lot of that down in Columbus, except he was giving away merchandise, shirts and stuff. But he had little programs. And I'd like to see ringside interviews after the matches. So what did you think of your opponent tonight? Did you have a good win? And then the guys, they was right. Yeah. But that's all old school stuff. So
Yeah,
that's
I
like.
agree. Damien's got some comments on there, Chris. You want to post them up?
I agree with that too.
If you get everybody to work together,
It never happened.
I want to see a Hell in a Cell with the cage actually hanging over the ring.
All right, Terry.
We're big enough to do it.
I know that I'm not going to be anywhere close to that because if Terry Coons has anything to do with building, it's probably going to fall.
No, all those go to CWs there. There's no way you'd pull the
I said that just because
the rig, the ceiling come down too.
I said that just because that would.
All right, I'm going to make my turn. I'm going to make a smart ass comment. They can't even get that damn ring put up before bell time hardly. What the hell is going to take the time to hang a cage up above it before they?
Oh yeah, but one thing I'd like to see is, and it's kind of old school too, more storytelling. And I understand some of them, especially the ones that run like every month. Yeah, you only run once a month. You can still tell them some more stories than what they do. Now I understand you have some promotions that only run maybe 4 times a year or something. That can make it a little harder. But the ones that run almost a show every month, I think we could see a little bit more storytelling out of them.
I agree. Austin's got a good comment up here, and he's been to some independent shows, but not a lot. And I think that's an excellent idea, which we've kind of had that idea in a way.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day.
Yeah, Austin, I talked about that. I said you could even have, like, say the promotion of Kokomo send a main event, and you could send so that way you don't have the issues. Well, my guy's got to go over this, that. This is Kokomo's people, and then Columbus could send a main event of their guys, and boom, and then DCCW sends a main event, and WCWO and Summit Pro and Word Pro, and there's other organizations, the PWK, all send main events. You could have 10 matches, and you could have one heck of a show and promote all these.
And the promoter be responsible for his 2 people and his 2 people only. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a tremendous idea. Of course, I'm sure I'm not the first one to ever come up with it. And Austin's kind of down that road. Maybe in a way, he may be just talking about more of, DCCW best against Word Pro's best, or that type of thing.
Well, that's where you get in trouble. I think we found that out with one of the events we seen down there at the Dub one night, where they were trying to get promoters versus promoters, and promoter A's group versus promoter B, and then they get the fighting back there. And I ain't going to. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the issue. You got egos and everything involved. Yeah, my thing is also story driven. I think there's some stories out there that they could tell. I would love to see, uh, and I'm saying this is a perfect example, but uh, if you get a manager involved, when the female valet is involved into a storyline, that's something. I mean, Mike King's talked about, and I'm not saying we need to go to exactly that story, and probably couldn't do some of the stuff they did where he dragged her around by the hair of her head and all that stuff, nowadays. But I think there's a story there. Well, heck, I'll go ahead and say it. I think Lily Love would be a perfect with Dalton and maybe even Luke into a triangle situation, or even if he didn't use Luke, use another wrestler that you could use into that Macho Man, Hulk Hogan type situation. And there's other stories out there too. You had Baby Doll and Dusty Rhodes. You had many different stories. I think a story like that would go really well, and I would like to see stories like that involved.
And more.
I agree. I do agree. I do agree they need to use managers more because, like, you see a lot of managers come out to the ring, but they just stand there. A lot of times they don't interfere. They don't do anything.
Yeah, they stand there in front of me because.
Shout out to Hollywood House and Marvelous Mr. Bell, who both were great managers, great mouthpieces. Both come out and get the crowd going. The very first time I seen Jordan Bell, Marvelous Mr. Bell, Kokomo, he come out and you couldn't even hear him because the crowd booed him so much and so loud for so long. That was the very first Kokomo show I went to, and man, was I impressed with this guy, and still am. And same thing with Hollywood House. Two fantastic managers that everybody should be building. That's just my opinion.
I think sometimes an independent manager just kind of gets sent out there just to be out there.
Have you seen Mortimer
I think that'd be something.
Say that again, Marcus.
Have you seen Mortimer Blankenship from down Summit or Supreme? He is very good. I know when they were to merge, him and he had Eric Draven and the guy that brought in the new guy at Summit. What was the guy who was supposed to be that had the big stick on Summit? Roger Malcolm. Eric Draven. He brought them out at DCW. Or no. See, this is what happens when you be everywhere. At Emerge, all they did was walk through the curtain, and that crowd just went nuts, booing, screaming, yelling at them, and they didn't even do nothing but walk 2 feet through that curtain.
I can't remember his name, but that one guy we saw in Cincinnati, he's a pretty good manager.
Yeah. I can't think of his name right now. A bald-headed guy. I can't think of his name.
Manages a lot of heels.
And there's a lot of heels, and a lot of the guys there in Ohio, and he's been in Indiana too.
Yeah,
I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name, unfortunately. Right,
but he's good. I don't disagree with you, Austin. He's talking about Hollywood House could be a manager on big time, and I don't disagree. I think Hollywood's got the skills to be, and I think Jordan Bell does too. That's just my opinion. I think both are really good. I think Jordan leaving Kokomo's promotion was a negative for Kokomo's promotion. That's my opinion. For whatever reason he left, I don't know, justified or not, but I think it was a minus for a AACW. My opinion.
What was Kelly's? I didn't get Kelly's red before he moved it.
Oh, my bad.
I think she was piggybacking off Damien DeVille, saying that like WCW, DCCW, and AACW have been working together and are working on this now, trying to do even more, I guess.
Well, it's good to see because we've all been to all three of them, and it's nice to see, like when we was at the Bearcat Rumble and Justin Terrell walked in, when we was at DCCW out there at Jay County, and here come Damien DeVille and Ricky Guns, and they're all getting along. And then when we're all at AACW, then you see Mike King and Joey in there, and yeah, I'm loving this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, that's just Marcus, the program thing. When we did shows, a couple of shows that we did with Maples here in Muncie, we always did programs, and because I think it's something that they could have, and because something to remember everything by and everything. So I like the program idea, and I like the giveaway possibility. And the thing, what we did when we did it, we went out and found a printer to be a sponsor, and his sponsorship was the programs.
Well, there you go.
And then his name went up on the poster or whatever. So if you needed 100 programs, he produced them 100 programs for you, and he went up as a sponsor.
See, that's just smart working. I like that idea.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Well, I got hundreds of programs upstairs from promotions of years past that actually had them. And yeah, because I keep that stuff. So, and one day everybody will see it. I may be gone, but
Okay. Austin, I think you might like this. Last thing we have is a bracket, top 16 most technical pro wrestlers. This is from top10s.com. This is the top 16. We're going to start off with our first matchup, and this is a tough one already. We've been talking about one of the guys already. Their number one guy, their number one seeded guy was Chris Benoit.
that's technical wrestling.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's going to go up against the number 16 guy, CM Punk.
Well, it's power of
I'm
elimination.
going Benoit.
It's going to be.
I think Benoit. You guys out there can help us out on that if you guys want to say what you think.
Kelly
Didn't
says
matter who
Benoit.
Punk was going up against. It was the opponent would always win. You could have
Damien
had,
said Benoit.
you could have had
Yep.
Walt Beasy on there.
I think it's going to be Benoit.
Walt would win.
Okay, our number in the other bracket, number 2 in the bracket was Bret the Hitman Hart. And this is a tough one against number 15, Jack Briscoe.
I'm going Bret Hart, but I saw a lot more of
Yeah, you
Bret
said
Hart than I did Briscoe.
Briscoe was outstanding, but
I'll still went with Benoit.
oh yeah, I believe
I'm
that. He
gonna
knows
have
how
to
good
go
Bret
Hart.
was.
Kelly said Bret.
I'm gonna go with Bret, but not by much, because Briscoe was outstanding in the ring. He was technical as technical gets.
Mm-hmm.
Austin says Bret. Damien said tough, but Bret.
Okay, our next matchup is going to be number 3, and this is another wrestler who was around the late 90s and 2000s, going against a guy around in the 70s and the 80s. Will be number 3, Kurt Angle, against number 14, Nick Bockwinkel.
I'm going Angle, but
I'm
again, I
going
know a lot more about Angle.
I'm going Angle too.
Well, I'm going to be the lone one. I'm going Bockwinkel.
Damien says Kurt. Austin says Kurt. Kelly says Kurt.
Our next matchup is number 4 against 13. That's Chris Jericho, number 4, against number 13, AJ Styles. What are we doing, guys?
They're going to say they picked Bockwinkel too. I think that's what they're saying. But I'm going to go AJ.
Oh, that's a tough one because, man, I've always been a big Jericho fan, but AJ is just going by but just by technical. Scrub dog, come here, Scrub. Huh?
Somebody ain't happy.
You get a drink. You okay, bub? Dog having trouble breathing. If it's just technical, I think I'm gonna go with AJ.
Yeah, I'm going AJ.
Even though I'm a big Jericho fan. Let's see. Damien says Jericho. Kelly says AJ.
Hush.
Austin says Jericho.
Yeah, I
if
knew
it's just
that
technical wrestling.
split pretty good.
So how are we going, guys? Jericho. What'd you say, Marcus?
AJ.
AJ? I think I go AJ.
If you go AJ, it'd be AJ 4-3.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
so
go AJ.
keep track of that one.
Hey,
Okay, next up then.
All right, Bubba, you okay? Scrappy. Stop.
Next matchup, we have an 8-9 matchup. Daniel Bryan.
You guys quit.
Daniel Bryan and Ric Flair. 8-9.
Go lay down.
Number 8 was Daniel Bryan. Number 9 was Ric Flair.
I'm going Flair.
Technical, just technical.
Just technical.
I'm going
Scrappy.
Guys,
Quit.
stop.
Go lay down.
Go lay down.
Oh, boy, stop, buddy. If it's just technical, I'd have to go. I'd have to go Daniel Bryan, even though I think go all around. Ric Flair's right there with anybody, but technical, I'll go Bryan. Damien says Bryan. Austin says Bryan.
What do you think, Marcus?
I was going to go Flair, but I think I got knocked out again.
Our next matchup, we got number 6 against number 11. I don't know if it gets much tougher than these two guys. Mr. Perfect against number 6, Mr. Perfect, against number 11, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I don't know how Steamboat's that low.
That's a tough one.
I'm going to
Just
go
take-
Steamboat.
Technical, man. Both of them are so good. Damien's going with Steamboat. Man,
Yeah, I'm going Steamboat.
I think I'm gonna go Steamboat, but that's close.
Did those two even wrestle each other? You would think they would have had to somewhere. They were still part of the same era. I have to
Steamboat.
look that up.
Yeah.
I bet they did work each other somewhere.
Who'd Marcus pick?
He's Steamboat. Next matchup, number 5 against number 12. 5, Eddie Guerrero against number 12, Owen Hart.
Christmas.
I think
I'm gonna go Owen. I'm going Owen.
Eddie
Yeah,
Guerrero wrestled some really technical matches too.
I think if Owen was still alive, Owen would win that. But I'm going to go with Guerrero. Of course, Guerrero didn't outlive him much longer, but
Man, technical. I'm going with Owen. You said Owen, right? Marcus said
Eddie.
Daniel said Owen, or Damien said, excuse me, Damien said Owen.
Kelly said both.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
And Austin said Eddie.
Ooh, I do have another one on my side.
We're about tired up, ain't we?
Yep.
Well, me and you both have Owen, and he.
I think
Right
Owen
now.
won that.
So
Oh, okay. Our last first round matchup, number 7, Shawn Michaels against number 10, Dean Malenko.
That's funny. Dean Malenko came up because in that interview that Daniel did with SWS, he brought up Dean Malenko. I'll go Dean Malenko because, like I said, I'm never was a Shawn Michaels fan. I know he was very talented. I don't doubt him. I just never.
It's a different thing. In ring, I'm in ring because in ring different than technical. I saw Michaels all day long, but in ring, but technical, I think Dean Malenko.
You know, you guys are scrambled pretty good right now too. Your faces are. Oh, there you go. Well, you're kind of breaking out of it. Okay.
Chris is kind of scrambled. Anyway.
I'll go Malenko.
I know Daniel will. He's still on there, but
Malenko won.
Dean's gonna win.
Damien has Malenko. Austin won Michaels.
Okay, so our next matchup was going to be number 1 rated Chris Benoit against number 8 Daniel Bryan.
I'm still going Benoit.
Close one. I'm gonna go Benoit.
I'm going Daniel Bryan. Look like 3-2 right now, Benoit. Let's see if anybody else going to vote here. Wait a minute, Kelly had Dean too, didn't you? Or was that Owen? That's Dean. No. Okay, we go. Yeah, it's going to be Benoit. We got number 13, AJ Styles, against number 12, Owen Hart.
All right, I'll pick Owen this round.
Oh, I'm gonna go Owen. Damien says Owen.
I was going to say AJ, but I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Because Kelly said Owen.
Number 2, Bret Hart against number 10, Dean Malenko.
Brett. Because there's matches of those guys out there. I've seen it. But Brett still, I think, was the better one.
Yeah, I think I'll go Brett.
I think I would too. It'll be Brett. Next up, number 3, Kurt Angle against number 11, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Who did Angle beat in the first round?
He beat Bockwinkel.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well, I'll go Steamboat. Is that who I'm picking? It's Angle and Steamboat, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go Steamboat.
That's tough. I'm such a Steamboat fan, but Angle's awful good technical in the ring too.
Oh, I'm gonna go Kurt.
2-2 without my vote right now.
3-2.
Oh, yeah. It would be 3-2. Yep. 3-2 without my vote. And I don't want to tie it.
Kelly,
Tie it. We can stay tied forever.
Kelly say anything yet?
Yep. She went with Steamboat.
Damien went with Kurt. Austin went with Kurt.
I'm going to go with Kurt. So it's going to be Kurt, guys. So we got our final 4. First matchup. He was number 1. Chris Benoit against the number 12, Owen Hart.
Owen.
I'm gonna go Owen as well. Bruce McGar came in with Angle. So.
Yeah, so
What's up, Bruce?
what do you guys think? Chris Benoit or Owen Hart, best technical wrestler? Just technical, not.
We got 4 Owens and 1 Benoit so far.
It's going to be Owen, guys. It's a little of an upset, I guess. Okay, we've got in this final 4 bracket, number 2, Bret Hart against number 3, Kurt Angle.
I'm on Bret Hart. You know what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah, we know what we're looking like there.
Yeah, we're trying to set Bret and Owen up. I'm going to go Bret Hart.
That's a close one. I think I would go Brett.
Hey, Bruce, how's it going? So, best technical wrestler, Bret or Kurt? Looks like it's going to be.
Looks like it's gonna be Brett. 1, 2, 3. We got 5 Bretts.
Yep. So, our finals. We've got, he was a number 12 seed, Owen Hart, taking on number 2 seed, his brother, Bret the Hitman Hart, who was the best technical wrestler in the ring.
I'm going to go
Was it Brett?
WrestleMania
Yep.
10 opening bout.
Yes, it was. A great
Owen
one.
Hart is, yeah.
I'm going Owen.
I'm surprised you're such a big Bret fan.
Yeah, but Owen, I think Owen was ahead of his time. I think Owen was going to be a real big star
Since he just
before the accident happened. But yeah,
We got a couple Bretts. Going with Owen. Chris is going with Owen. What'd you say, Marcus?
Owen.
Austin said
Oh,
Owen.
that's 5 Owen. So I think it's going to be Owen, guys.
Wow, how about that?
There were some really tough matchups there. How was Steamboat number 11?
Yeah.
Ricky's
I mean,
on
don't get
there.
me wrong. I think Eddie Guerrero was great, and I really like Eddie Guerrero. But when you talk technical, do you think he should be a 5 and Steamboat should be 11th.
No. I'm surprised Bockwinkel actually made it on that list. I mean, I like Bockwinkel, and I even voted for him in this little thing we did here. But
yeah, this was made by top10s.com. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for tonight. Hey, everybody, don't forget that DCCW's got a big show coming up October the 7th at Jay County. You can get on jcountyfairgrounds.com and get all the information. But they are going to have on the show Gang Grill, also on the show Papa Shango, also on the show Godfather, and also Victoria, who's in WWE.
And it looks like Brian Pillman Jr. is on the poster, so.
No, that's not Brian.
That's not him?
No.
I thought it was Pillman Jr. on that.
No, that's somebody else. You know him, though. Get your glasses on, Marcus.
Yes.
That's Logan Myers.
It's new Fair County champ.
That's the Jay
Logan
County.
Myers. I'll have to. Wow. Let me look at it.
That's the Jay County champ, Logan Myers. The Jay County Fair champ. He's going to be there defending
Logan Myers. I just kind of glanced at Ari was on the other side.
Yeah. Ari Alexander's also going to be there. It's going to be a great show. You can get your ticket prices and everything. There, I know general admission are $15. I know the front row and second row is more expensive. They've got tables, but you can get that information. It's going to be a great show. Definitely check that out.
Can we plug JICW?
Money's going. What'd you say, Marcus?
So can we go ahead and plug JICW as well?
Yeah, sure.
Austin Fury show in memory of the late Austin Fury, who passed away a few years ago. They're doing a heck of a tournament down in Martinsville on the, I think it's the 23rd. Let me look. Yes, September 23rd at the fairgrounds in Martinsville. They got like 12 guys coming in for this in a tournament to determine the Austin Fury Memorial Championship. I went last year. It was fantastic. So
yeah, we're going to be there, so we're looking forward to
it. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room will be there. Chris Chaos will be our special guest commentator that day as well. We had Ricky Guns on this past week.
Yes, we did.
Guest commentator, and went very well.
Did.
If anybody else wants to do that, you got to learn how to run the camera, though. But
I'm a cameraman too.
We'd be more than happy to go on.
Got Alan Bradley here saying sorry he was late, but he was talking about the CM Punk situation, which we kind of went through. Yeah, I mean, Punk definitely had his issues. I think that there was a lot of issues with that locker room already. I think the biggest issue is Tony Khan didn't have control of his locker room. Mm-hmm. I think we can all agree to that. I think that's probably the main issue. They asked Mark Henry this question. Billy did, which Billy already knew the answer. Would that stuff ever happened? And how long would it take for WWE to shut that down? And he said, no time flat. He said, and Mark Henry brought it up again. He said, I got mad at Shawn Michaels threatening to kill him. He said, next thing I know, I was on my way to OVW. And that was only because they liked me or I'd have been fired. He said, I was OVW with Jim Cornette for 6 months and Rip Rogers. Rip Rogers telling me to get my fucking lazy ass to work every day. And he says the only man that can get away with saying that. That's what Mark Henry said. He loves Rip Rogers.
Yeah, it's going to be 23rd, Martinsville.
Yep. We'll be at the following day at Warrior Pro, 24th.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. You have anything else?
Nope, I don't
we
think so.
We want to see if anybody wants to give us topic ideas, possibly.
Yeah, anybody got real quick? Anybody got ideas for some topics that we could do? We do our show every week, and we've got some big stuff that we're kind of planning. But we But if anybody's got any suggestions for topics, we would be more than happy to take them.
And if anybody wants to interview.
Yes, if any wrestlers out there want to get interviewed, hey, we're more than happy to have you
Oh,
on.
you have a big interview Thursday.
Yes.
Bill Wright be joining us on Thursday, so that should be a real interesting conversation. He's launching this new app to help wrestlers and promoters kind of link up. So it should be a real good conversation Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern.
And also going to be the ladies' man's going to be with him.
Yeah.
Ladies' man Mike King is going to be on with him. So that should be interesting. And I do know that I think we're going to have Jason McGraw from the J County Fair Board is going to be on here pretty soon, in maybe a couple of weeks with Jared to plug that show.
Well, hopefully we can get Steven on here too for the JICW. I just got to get a hold of him. We don't want to go down that road, Alan. We've talked about that already.
I'd do it.
Want to do that.
Hey, I'd do it because I work at Walmart. I can get the butt cream. That ain't no problem. But I don't think Marcus wants to do it. Austin's got an idea. Top 15, 20 women wrestlers of all time list.
All right. Well, let's do that next week then. We can come up with rank our own if you want.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys froze up.
Real quick, Austin, just off the top of your head, who's number one? Who's the greatest woman wrestler of all time?
AJ says, what match deserves to be considered great but has been forgotten?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that makes you think. You can do that.
Come on, Austin.
Who's he love?
I know who you don't love. It's probably going to be mine and yours number one greatest women wrestler. Austin don't love. That's Charlotte Flair.
Hey, he doesn't like Charlotte Flair?
He's not a big fan. Austin's Becky Lynch. He's a big Becky Lynch fan.
Well, she'd be up there in the top 5, I would think. Yeah, Charlotte's my number one. I mean, come on now, look at that woman. And I'm not talking sex appeal. Don't get me wrong there. She is talented.
I tell you, somebody might have a chance to surpass her, especially if she can get some women that can hang with her, and that's going to be Rhea Ripley. I think she's got the talent.
Bruce McGar put Mickey Knuckles.
Mickey Knuckles.
Well, that's because Bruce McGar is scared of Mickey Knuckles.
Yeah, I don't think I blame him for being scared of Mickey Knuckles.
Hey, I'd pay to see that match, Mickey Knuckles against Bruce McGar, hardcore match. I'd pay for that.
Mickey Knuckles beat up a referee practically in Lafayette that day.
Hardcore wrestling, good or bad?
For long term of the sport.
What do you think? I think it was good.
It has its place. Yeah, I think it was good. But again, it has its place. So
what would the business be right now if ECW never comes about?
well, I know. But then think of when Vince McMahon got ECW and destroyed the living daylights out of it.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't the original plan. The original plan was that they was going to start ECW back, and it was going to be ECW, and it was going to be Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon's son, Shane, a YouTube show only. It was not going to be put on network TV. And Vince got a hold of it and put it on network TV. They really wanted to bring the real ECW back, and Vince got a hold of it. That wasn't the original plan.
And he made himself the champ of that, right? Wasn't he the ECW champ for Vince?
You know, that show wasn't that bad. The problem was they called it ECW. You called the show something else, it'd probably been fun. But you just didn't want to call it ECW because it wasn't ECW.
Well, okay, you got a point there. They branded it wrong.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think the show wasn't. Yeah, I don't think the show was terrible. It just wasn't ECW. Wasn't what the fans wanted. Because you said you was going to bring ECW. That's not what you give them.
I agree with Austin. You know how I feel about death matches.
All right. Well, yeah, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Gonzo'S Sports Room. Appreciate everybody watching. We'll be back next Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern with another episode of Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. Hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you guys next time. That is the wrong button.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
Here, this is G.W.R. show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.